Just so you all know, I am Dr. Milton Carroll. I am a chiropractor. I got involved with Engage DNA in June. I saw not only a wonderful opportunity, but a product that really works. So I'd like to just tell you what convinced me to really take a look at this. Being a good friend of mine and a patient dropped by and gave me some of the product in May, right after I got done doing an Ironman triathlon, and it was the one down in St. George. And 2 years ago when I did it, I got so dehydrated that I nearly had heat stroke, and it a very long time almost 6 months to recover from the first one I did because of that heat exhaustion that I underwent here. I did much better. I was able to stay hydrated better, but I was afraid that with the muscle cramping that I started getting at mile 7 in the run, that I was going to be out of it for several months before I could function again. And John dropped some by, getting within 2 or 3 better, out running again. It felt like my recovery was almost instantaneous, and that piqued my interest a little bit. And then he was mean to me and cut me off from MMF another month. And Marty came by to see me, and they explained to me what it was and how they got it, and I was instantly interested. And then the day after, the day that they stopped by to visit me, and I signed up to the MMF again, and was bike riding with my daughter, and I was waiting for me to actually run across the rattlesnake. I wanted to make sure that she stayed close, and so I was paying more attention to where she was on the trail behind me than what I was doing when I was stopping. I forgot to uncleat my feet, and I dove over into the oak brush and caught an oak branch ribs on the lower part of my rib cage and cracked 2 of my ribs. And as I was laying there moaning with my daughter, wondering if I was dying, the only thing I could really think of was how on earth am I going to work for the next 3 months? It seemed to take forever to heal. That was the first time I've ever experienced it, and it's not pleasant. So any of you who have experienced that know that it takes anywhere from 2 to 4 months to heal, and it's usually about 2 to 3 months of agony while they heal. Can't sneeze, can't cough, can't watch anything funny because it's painful. Well, 2 days after that happened, because I was taking the MMF, the pain and the swelling in my ribs was completely gone. I could move and function mostly. If I hit it or bumped it or moved just wrong, yeah, it still hurt. But within 2.5 weeks, my ribs were completely healed. It is, in my opinion, a miracle. And that really piqued my interest, and that's when I really started taking a closer look at micronutrients and what it is. So what I'd like to do is kind of go over some of the success that we've seen with it and try to explain to you from a professional standpoint and a doctor standpoint of what micro is, how it works, and why this product really works and why we need to get it out as possibly can. So if that's okay with you guys, I'll just get started. So I'm going to just kind of start off with what I was going to say. And the MMF, as you all know, was designed to do 4 things. 1, to get rid of systemic inflammation, deal with oxidative stress, protect our bodies and undo the damage of ionized radiation, and to detoxify our systems, get rid of toxins and poisons that are in our body. Because it does that, it does all 4 of those things, it works phenomenally. And even help with people who have traumatic brain injuries. If you have any kids, grandkids, family members who play football, there's no reason why they should not be on MMF. It was probably one of the best protective things that you could do for a young athlete, because when you are exercising at high intensities and heat, your body burns out a lot of the nutrition. Your electrolytes balances go askew, and as your nutrition gets depleted through exercise, a way to re-enter the proper nutrients into your system. The amount of injuries that you see go sky high with people. So on the athletic end of things, that's one of the things that I've noticed, because I am an athlete, because I'm a triathlete. The recovery time frame is greatly diminished. So if you have people that you're working with that are athletes, that is an angle that you can use to work with them to help them understand why this is such a fantastic product. One of my favorite things that I've seen is I have a patient who has been treating him for about anywhere from 5 years. I can't remember how long it is to be exact. But he's had horrible resting tremors. They've been messing with his medication for years, and every time they change his medication, it throws him for a loop where he can hardly walk or function for anywhere from a couple weeks to several months. And until about a year ago, they finally got things working right with his medication, so he could actually function normally and not be laid up to where he couldn't walk or move. But he's always had to, and I don't know how much you guys know about Parkinson's and how it affects the body, but it's actually the cells inside the brain towards the cerebellum and stuff. It's called the substantia nigra, and those cells actually die. They quit producing the chemicals and things that they need, and for stuff like that. And so you have resting tremors. They get dizzy a lot. They're always off balance, and that's the reason why they have that shuffling gait where they're just shuffling his feet. But after he'd been on it for 3 weeks, he came into my office and said, "Hello, doctor." Opened the door, and he walked through my office like a normal human being, just normal gait, regular steps, didn't move, he wasn't weaving from side to side as he went down the hall, didn't have to hold on to him as we walked him down the hall, didn't have to hold on to the walls like he normally does. It was incredible, and he's been slowly but surely improving with time. And so that's been one of the remarkable things I've seen. The other thing where I've seen a huge improvement is with fibromyalgia. I don't know how much you guys know about fibromyalgia, but fibromyalgia is what they call a psychosomatic disorder. It's where it can be a physical trauma or a psychological trauma, emotional trauma that's occurred actually interrupt the way your body creates energy, and it has a malfunction with using malate as enzyme to create the next sugar as it goes through what's called the Krebs cycle, and it messes that up. And so it starts to create malic acid, which is part of the inflammation process, which causes systemic inflammation and pain throughout the body and the muscle. And I have had just phenomenal results with fibromyalgia with patients that we've given this to. So if you have friends or family who suffer from chronic pain or chronic fatigue, because chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, they tend to go hand in hand. But the problem with that particular thing is it's the micronutrients problem. Your body doesn't have what it needs to be able to convert one enzyme, take a sugar and convert from one sugar form to the next sugar form. It quits being able to make that enzyme. So micronutrients is a major component in the overall health of the body as the body creates energy. So that for me has been phenomenal, to take a patient that I've been working on for 5, 6, 7 years just to try to keep their pain levels low enough that they can function without wanting to shoot themselves, and have it actually go away where they're virtually pain-free. I mean, that is life-changing for someone who has those types of problems. And the fact that I have several patients whose neuropathies with diabetes is going away. I mean, that's a huge deal too. We've even given it to one of my patients. She's given it to her father who has Alzheimer's, and I would just like to invite her for a minute to tell you guys a little bit about how this has helped her father in the situation that she's been in. So, Charlotte, would you mind just telling everybody about that real quick?
Thanks. I'd be happy to. My father has Alzheimer's. He was to the point where he couldn't remember any of our names. He was getting mean, nasty. He was going to kill everybody he thought was stealing from him. He was very angry at the world and angry at my mom. He was always going to throw her out. So I started him on the MMF. And within 2 weeks, I made a phone call to the house, to my mom and dad's, and he answered the phone. And I said, "Hi, Dad," and he said, "Hi." And I talked to him for a minute, which is unusual because he doesn't usually talk on the phone. And my mother wasn't home at the time, and he said, "I'll tell Mom you called." I'm thinking, okay, she'll probably just see my name on the caller ID and call me back. Well, and I said, "Oh, I'm surprised to hear from you." And Dad told me that you called, and he called you by name. And he had not called any of us by name for a long time. He couldn't remember our names. He's been on it about 6 weeks, maybe 7, and he is calm. He's not enraged. He's not going to kill anybody anymore. We took them out to dinner for their 58th wedding anniversary in July, and my dad was actually smiling and laughing and teasing a little bit with my mother like his normal self. I don't know that it will cure the Alzheimer's, but it has caused those symptoms to subside, and he has some of his cognitive ability back. I believe that I know that it's the MMF that's working because last Thursday he decided not to take it anymore, and they went on a trip to Idaho over the weekend, and he was really good until yesterday when they came home, and he got really paranoid about that they were going to run out of gas and stuff. So Mom was going to see what she could do to get him to start taking it again. But I know it's the MMF that's caused him to improve because nothing else has worked.
Thank you, Charlotte. I appreciate it. So you can see even with people with mental functions, with Alzheimer's, with dementia, it can drastically improve their lives. And I feel that there's two major keys to our health issues in today's society. The first one is the fact that we just don't get the nutrients that we need. It's not in our food. Everything's processed. We don't get it. We don't get the nutrients that we need. And even when you try to eat healthy and eat salads and stuff like that, you have to eat so much of the fibrous type plant food to get as much as you used to that it would kill you to eat that much. I think the research said that if you wanted to get the same amount of nutrients out of a carrot that you did 70 years ago or 100 years ago, you'd have to eat 70 carrots. And I'm pretty sure that my intestines could not handle 70 carrots. I don't know about you guys, but that just wouldn't be a pretty sight, and I'm pretty sure I would never want to eat carrots again. So the fact is we just can't get it. So our cells on a cellular level, they can't function the way that they're supposed to. They need those micronutrients and the quantities that they get and the synergy, the way that they work together and the form that they're in is so crucial for people's health. The other part is undoing physical trauma, making sure that that your nervous system and your joints and your musculoskeletal system, that all that's working well. I mean, if you put those two things together, you've got a winner for overall health. And the MMF is a major component. I've found that as I've given this to people and I start working on them, they adjust better. I mean, their muscle spasms go down. They hold their adjustments. It's not like I have to tell. I can give someone MMF that I've been seeing once a week for years just to keep them out of pain, and I'll adjust them once, and they'll feel better from that and hold their adjustment for a month. Don't need to come see me for a month. I mean, that for a patient, that's huge. For anybody, that's huge. So,
Dr. Carroll?
Yes.
Another thing about my dad is that he broke his leg with a double compound fracture about 5 or 6 years ago, and it has never healed. And he is in constant pain with that. He has not complained about the leg giving him pain for about 4 weeks. So that's pretty impressive to us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the stuff is life-changing. So take every opportunity you can to share it with everybody that you know and love. Now, I do want to respond to something that all of you may have run across. You've given someone a sample, they've taken it for a week or even 2 weeks, and they come back and tell you, I haven't felt any changes. Has that ever happened to anybody? I mean, it's happened to me a number of times, and it took me quite a while to kind of figure this out as to what's going on and stuff like that and how to kind of deal with this situation. In my profession as a chiropractor, something that we teach is maintenance care. Maintenance is extremely important. It's much better. I'm sorry, that's bad English. It is much easier to keep someone healthy than to get them healthy. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, so to speak. Well, if you're dealing with someone who is like that and they're not sure whether or not they want to take it or be involved or start getting the product, the one thing that you can explain to them is saying, now that your body is getting the nutrients and the stuff that it needs, it's protecting you from the damage to your DNA, which can help protect you against cancers. It can reduce your risk of getting cancers. It can reduce your risk of getting illnesses because it will boost and help your immune system significantly. Getting autoimmune diseases go down significantly. And so all these genetically passed on diseases and issues that we have, that they're finding that everything tends to be related genetically, it's going to reduce the risk of having those set up or have those occur to you, because all your genetic diseases and problems that people have, almost every single one of them have to have a trigger. Something has to trigger it to get it to occur. You know, you can have diabetes run in a family and have be passed on from generation to generation, but you can have a skip 1 or 2 generations and also have a whole bunch of people get it. Something has to trigger these things before people usually have these problems. So you can prevent a lot of issues. So if you can talk to them about the preventative nature of MMF, that may be a way to help you market to those people who said that I didn't feel a lot of change. And I've talked to people about that a lot more lately, and people tend to accept that and understand the whole preventative side of things and how much that can actually mean to them. Because if you start talking to people about their family histories, they'll say, well, my dad and my brothers have all had, heart surgery and have had a heart attack, and it runs in my family that there's breast cancer, there's this cancer, that cancer. Everybody's family seems to have a history of something that's horrible that tends to happen to people, and they're worried about that. And so if you can just let people know that this is one more protection against you ever getting that and your family getting that, that is something that really strikes in the heart of most people. So what I'd like to do now, and I hope that the things that I'm telling you are of benefit, that help you understand why there's such a need for this and why I am so gung-ho and excited about being involved in something that is so fantastic, because there's not very many things out in this world that really, really work, that really help people and can change lives. And this is probably the best thing that I've ever seen. I've known about nutrients for years. I've understood the fact that if you don't have this nutrients with that nutrients, it's not going to work. But to put them all together in one single supplement that hits every aspect of your body's immune system and your cardiovascular system and the overall health of your body, it's never been done. And so we have a unique, wonderful opportunity. Thank you all for being here and spending the time with us. And I hope that what you've learned today and that you'll use the tools available, that you'll be excited about going out, just get the stuff into people's hands, let them try it, and then follow up with them. Follow up is everything. That's really how the business grows and how you become successful and how you change someone's life is by following up with them. Because a lot of people, even if they notice the difference, if you don't follow up with them, they'll never say anything to you. So make sure that you follow up with them. And if you need help speaking with another doctor about MMF and how it works and stuff like that, I would be happy to help you. Just shoot me a text and let me know when you can get them on the phone with me. I would prefer that you do the legwork, you talk to them and see if they would be willing to do a 3-way call with me, or if they're in my area, I'd be happy to go sit down and meet with them with you. But I definitely want to make sure that if you're going to have me working with someone that you have been introducing to the business, that you've done the legwork and that they've agreed to talk to me with you about what it is and how it works and why I think it's such a wonderful product. And then maybe I can help you out a little bit that way, because we need more professionals, more doctors, more people like that on board to really help people. So I'm just going to put that out there and with that, and appreciate y'all, and you have a wonderful evening. Thanks, everyone.